What up, people? Welcome to episode 97 of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring a very exasperated Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Best in the world at what he does, except for trying to figure out why my Bluetooth headphones, my Bluetooth earpods, are not connecting to this laptop, which just keeps on going off and on because I'm currently having headphone problems. My customary over-the-ear headphones are glitchy right now. And just to make sure that my volume is coming through, I decided to switch to Bluetooth earpods, right? I think that would be nice and simple. It worked the last 2 times. Maybe I'm coming in a little bit more louder than I normally would, but so be it. And I have my little Yeti, which is a piece of shit to begin with, but it gets the job done. So I'm trying to make sure that the microphone, the Yeti, is working, and my earpods are working as headphones only. Don't need the effed up mic. And it's taking me exactly 45 minutes to make sure everything is nice and synced. So instead of this being a celebratory episode, instead of this being a very upbeat episode, this has become a very ornery episode. And I'm not starting again. Started once, realized the tone was off. I said, you know what? Let's run this back. Anyway, I have a jam-packed episode on tap. I have a lot of different topics I'm going to get into, a myriad, if you will, of topics in all different aspects of life. First and foremost, I will give my wrestling fans what they need, what they really deserve. And those are my thoughts, my salty ass thoughts on the last 2 weeks of John Cena. Can this mother effer hurry up and retire? Like, really? I don't want to see him anymore. Get off my screen. Because everything he's doing right now is very counterproductive, or you would believe would be very counterproductive of what they're trying to accomplish. But right now, tell you the truth, when it comes to WWE, I have no idea what they're trying to accomplish. Are they trying to actively run off fans? Long-time fans? Loyal fans? Just to attract the bandwagon jumpers? The one that think it's just a hot trend? The one that's willing to fork over dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar? The one that really don't care about the intricacies, nor the history, nor the art of professional wrestling. They're all concerned about the almighty dollar. The ones that actually have some type of shred of humanity, but week after week after week after week, appearances after appearance after appearance after appearance, for multiple aspects, whether it's the seat, the head cocksucker in charge, or the head of the cocksuckers, or the most entertaining, the most electrifying cocksucker in the world. Matter of fact, I take that one back because he hasn't done anything abnormal yet. But at this point in time, who knows? Week after week after week after week after week. Story comes out here. This person says this. This person supports that. This person's pitching with this. This person does that. And it just dwindles and dwindles and dwindles and dwindles. All the goodwill that yours truly is willing to give. So I'll be talking about the latest person, and actually, he is just such an insincere asshole, which I saw on Total Divas years ago, and I said it before, and I will reiterate it again, is exactly who John Cena really is. Does John Cena even know who he really is? I will talk about him. And while I'm on the wrestling subject, I will talk about the landmark deal that WWE made with another entity that I really try to stay away from. ESPN. Yes. They announced a $1.6 billion deal for the next 5 years for ESPN to host their at least five major PLE events on their nice, new, crispy app that's unveiling at the end of this month for the grand total of $29.99. Yes, starting in WrestleMania 42, your place to be, your place to go for PLEs when it comes to WWE will not be the Peacock, but will be ESPN. Not ESPN, the regular app, no. Not ESPN Plus, no. The GTD model, or the DTC model, direct to consumer. I'll talk about that. Then to stay on the sports front, but yet stay on the most irritating, aggravating, frustrating team currently playing that devotes, that concentrate, that demands my fandom, is the METS. The Amazings, if you will. The Amazing Losers. The Amazing Losers of 7 straight. The Amazing Losers of 11 of the last 12. Or 11 of the last 13. I done lost count. Remember last week when I dropped my epic, almost 2-hour extravaganza on yours truly birthday? I said I had plans. I had birthday plans that I was going to go to. And my birthday plans was going to Citi Field for the first time this year, but also on my birthday by myself. And I wanted to see if the streak would continue. And some people were like, streak? What streak are you talking about? Well, actually, I had 2 streaks concurrently going, and only one lasted. Up until years ago, maybe 3 years ago to be exact, I had a consistent losing streak anytime I saw the Metropolitans in person. Right? So that broke a couple years ago when I went with Brothers Al and with Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach. And even though the Mets were not in contention, they won not once, they won not twice, they won 3 consecutive times that I was in attendance with Brothers Al and Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach. Now, last year, I made an excursion down to Atlanta for one night only. One night only, one night only, Mike Steph's in town. One night only, catch me if I'm around. I went with Brother Low Fat Beats in the ATL, see my Mets against his Atlanta Braves. And yes, it was a loss, but I was like, listen, that's my first excursion outside of the confines of Shea Stadium and Citi Field. That's my first on the road excursion. So therefore, fine, I get it. And guess what? We had the last laugh when we beat the Braves to get into the playoffs. And we advanced all the way to the National League Championship Series, while the Braves was pretty much 2 and done. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try my luck. I'm going to press my luck. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. And I decided to go by myself. And some people are like, why would you go by yourself? That's loser shit. No, it isn't. It's grown man shit, tell you the truth. But as the Mets have been known to do, they will break the heart of believers. And a 2-0 lead quickly ended up into a 3-2 loss. I got there, my customary second inning appearance when I'm by myself. And by the time I got to my seat, it was up 2-0. I was like, okay. Clay Holmes was on the mound, got out of some trouble in the 4th, gave up 1 run, gave up another run in the 5th inning. But I was only witness to 1 hit for the rest of the game. 1 hit. And do you know who delivered that hit? That's right, Jeff McNeil. So, lifeless performance, but I have some behind-the-scenes footage of what I enjoyed that day. Well, I enjoyed my birthday. I didn't enjoy the loss, but yeah. So that would be on tap. And I guess last but not least, I would talk about my feelings currently on New York City public transportation, but even more specifically, the expansion of the City Bike program. Yes, City Bike program has been around for a while, and they're the scourge of most motorists because number one, they take up precious real estate when it comes to parking. Even though I'm currently on the sidelines when it comes to parking, because listen, my car is parked indefinitely right now. But still, parking spaces at a premium, especially in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And we have been bombarded by the City Bike program with ports all over the place. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4 ports within a 5-block radius. So over this past week, City Bike, aka Lyft, has announced plans to expand into the Bay Ridge area. And oh my God, the backlash. Oh my God, the natives are restless. And while I understand that, everybody is so pro equality right now, right? Everything has to be equal, right? Equal rights, right? Well, how much are you pro equal rights when it's okay for one part of the borough to be bombarded with it, but God forbid they come over to Precious Bay Ridge with the scourge? Oh, why? Because y'all have private houses and we have apartment buildings? So fucking what? So yeah, I would give my salty thoughts on that. So I think I'm pretty much done. I would try to lighten up the mood just a little bit with two questions that air on the bluer side, that air on the crash side. But guess what? I'm just in that mood, and I figured I'm going to put y'all in that mood also. And this is two questions that border on the that border on the line of torture. Remember that old skit from Wu-Tang Clan? Torture, motherfucker, torture. How about this? I'd sew your ass clothes. You sew your asshole clothes and keep on feeding you and feeding you and feeding you and feeding you. METHOD, man. METHOD, man. Well, this is my own thought of torture. Here we go. Question number 1. If a woman has a nut allergy, yes, if a woman has a nut allergy, can that said woman have children? Ha ha! Ha ha! Nut children? Ha ha! Question number 2. And this is actually the gross part. This is the torturous part. If you give oral to a female that has a nut allergy after eating cashews and not rinsing your mouth, would that be considered attempted murder? Would that be considered sexual abuse? Just asking. Nut allergy. You know, sometimes people who have nut allergies swell up. So and they can't come in, you get the picture. So with all that being said, let's get this show on the way. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's that time again. It's that time again. It's that time again. Good night. Mwah! And goodbye. Bang! Salty thoughts of Mike Steph. This marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music mixed for living. Rep New York City, but hate the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the world of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world at what he does. Tap in. WWE and ESPN have partnered up for a deal of epic proportions, as I said in the intro. ESPN and WWE have come to a deal to air PLE'S on their new $29.99 app. If you have ESPN on cable, it's supposedly pretty seamless. For those who aren't cable subscribers, it sucks. See, listen, I dropped ESPN last year, and I don't really watch ESPN anymore. I really don't. Right? It's bad enough that ESPN has absorbed the NFL network, because the NFL now has a 10% stake of ESPN. So yeah, all that objective criticism, all that objective reporting when it comes to the state of the NFL, you think it was going to be NFL 24/7, 365 before. It's going to be 25/8. 770, whatever, something like that. Yeah, 720. Yeah, that's right. 730. Yeah, you get the picture. Listen, nobody ever said I was great in math. I'm just great about my math, if you get my drift. But it's bad enough that ESPN has been absorbed, or has absorbed, the NFL network, and that the people that I personally have tried to step away from, I'm still going to be inundated with if I decide to partake in this new partnership. Look at it from my point of view, and probably from the point of view of a lot of others, but my point of view, because this is the Salty Thought to Mike Steph. If you're not a fan of Stephen A. Smith, or matter of fact, maybe that's a little bit too harsh, maybe that's a little bit too strong. If you're dealing with Stephen A. Smith fatigue, and you're a WWF fan, a WWE fan, and you're a basketball fan, and you're a baseball fan, matter of fact, basketball fan and a football fan, baseball, shoot, they put them on Sunday nights, and that's all they do. That's all they're talking about. That's all they're thinking about. We put you on Sunday nights, be quiet. Go in your corner. Little League baseball, we're all about it. College World Series, we're all about it. MLB, yeah, just go in the corner, be quiet. Shh. Grown men, this grown man business over here. But if you deal with those three sports, football, basketball, and sports entertainment, wrestling, you're going to have to deal with Stephen A. Smith. You think Stephen A. Smith making $20 million a year, they're not going to try to shoehorn him into some WrestleMania coverage? You think if they have SummerSlam in South Beach, Miami, you really think I'm not going to make an excuse to go to South Beach? You don't think I'm going to be able to combine my vacation and be on location? LA, Miami, warm places. Stephen A. Smith is going to be all about the festivities. Do I really want to see him? Pat McAfee, even though he is taking a break, or his contract has expired and they're taking a break from each other contractually, do you think they're not going to utilize Pat McAfee on this coverage besides having him on their network? Now, it's different. Only difference is Pat McAfee is being leased. He's leasing his product to ESPN, but still, 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week. If you don't want to deal with First Take and their way of doing things, or their, tell you the truth, their dated way of doing things, you go to the Pat McAfee show if you're an ESPN consumer. So that's not too much because you dealt with him with WWE before for the last couple of years, for the last 4 to 5 years. So it's not that big of a deal. Now, personally, if you're a hip hop fan, your music, if you indulge in radio in New York City, which I really don't, except unless it's sports radio, and even that has waned, you have another WWE personality that is part of the ESPN brand. Maybe not the television brand, but the ESPN brand nevertheless. Peter Rosenberg. You're going to have to, if you listen to radio, you hear him in the morning, Hot 97. Then, after a couple-hour break, you hear him on ESPN New York with Don LaGreca and Alan Hahn. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Then you see him pre and post PLE'S. Do you think you're not going to see him front and center on ESPN TV? These are things that I think about. These are things that are first mic world problems, right? Now, with more about the deal, WWE will no longer be on Peacock starting, like I said, WrestleMania 42. There's no news so far on the landing place of the archives. The archives that Peacock has. Peacock has had the archives since 2021, since they put an end to the WWE network in the United States, in North America, right? Well, let's put it this way, in the United States. I don't know what's going on in South America. I don't know what's going on in Mexico. I don't know what's going on in Canada. I know in the 50 states, can't get the WWE network proper, right? Now you can't get it at all, but regardless, right? There's no talk about them migrating the archive to ESPN. Netflix has the Raw property. So pretty much what they have on their archives are WWE Raw and some history of Raw, like past episode, but not the full library. With the emergence of the YouTube channel, the WWE Vaults, and now you have the WCW YouTube channel, then you have the ECW YouTube channel, you can kind of see where this is heading. They're going to put their product on YouTube for another, I guarantee you, they will be announcing another multi-million-dollar deal, multi-year deal with YouTube to be the exclusive place where you can see archived footage from WWE in their history. But it's not going to be like Peacock on demand. Okay, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to binge watch this. No. They're going to. Do y'all not realize there's a reason for those who actually are aware of what I'm talking about when it comes to WWE Vault or WCW Vault or whatever? On YouTube over the last couple months, they have started putting the WCW library in drips and drabs, but as in premieres, such as World Championship Wrestling, that old 605 spot. Yeah, they're continuing that tradition on YouTube. So you don't get the whole year at the same time. You don't get the whole library at the same time. It premieres every week. Now, once it premieres, you can go back and look and catch up. Oh, darn, I missed last week. Oh, darn, I missed last month. That, my friends, is how I believe they are going to put the archives for you to enjoy, but for them to control. Pretty much, they're going to be reselling it. So they dismantled the network. They got their money from Peacock for the last 5 years. Now they're splitting that up. All right, ESPN, you get the PLEs, the 5 major ones. Now there's some talk about on linear TV, maybe they'll start putting the backlash and everything. Yeah, all right. What I think is, if anything, the backlash is the Clash in Paris, the Crown Jewels, stuff of that nature. You know what they'll put on? They're not. They might put on maybe the first hour, maybe the pre-show on regular ESPN television via cable. But so many people are cutting the cord of cable. That's why ESPN is coming up with this app for $29 to get everything. What they're going to do is say, you know what? You want to watch these PLEs, the minor PLEs? We're not going to put on regular TV, because you really think that ESPN is giving them $1.6 billion just to give away shit for free? No. ESPN Plus, the regular app. Okay, you can watch it exclusively there for the $7.99. I'm quite sure there's going to be tiers to this big app. And I believe that's the road that they're going by. The big ones, $29.99. Take it or leave it. The little ones, okay. You might be able to watch it if you already have ESPN in your sports package and cable, and then you have the ESPN app, you'll be able to watch it there. But they're not putting that shit on regular TV. Remember ESPN3? Like, yeah, there's certain things you can only see through the app. That's what they're gonna do. Pretty much drive people to the app and get people off the sports packages. People are saying, oh, I'm going to do the VPN. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Great. Trust me. I love the fact that I'm able to be at my shoot job and able to, get some content in the palm of my hands. But if I can't, guess what? I'll be watching shit on delay. Now, for all the intricacies of this deal, goes at the following. This is per both Wall Street Journal and ESPN. ESPN and WWE has reached a 5-year, $1.6 billion agreement that includes exclusive rights to air the wrestling company's premier live events, PLEs, beginning in 2026, according to the Wall Street Journal. As part of the worldwide leader, new direct-to-consumer streaming service launching later this month being August. The events will include the 2-night WrestleMania and SummerSlam extravaganzas, along with the Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and Money in the Bank, according to ESPN. It felt like it made a ton of sense for ESPN. ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro told the Journal. It's a significant content acquisition that we believe is going to really bolster our direct-to-consumer launch and drive our streaming future. That's important to hear, people. That's important to hear. Drive our streaming future, not cable future, not linear TV future, streaming future. I continue. WWE previously had been airing his PLEs through Peacock, with the sides having partnered on a 5-year, $900 million deal per the Wall Street Journal. ESPN's new streaming service is debuting August 21st and will cost $29.99 per month. And this agreement will include WWE's pre and post card shows for the PLEs per the ESPN release. Look, say that twice. People who have ESPN through DirecTV, Charter Communications, Hulu Plus, Live TV, Fubo TV, and Verizon Vios will have access to the PLEs. An ESPN spokesman said. Now listen, it says DirecTV, Charter Communications, Hulu Live TV, which is a streaming app, Fubo TV, which is a streaming app, and Verizon Fios, which is internet cable, will have access. They didn't say have full access, but will have access to the PLEs. ESPN spokesman said this ESPN pact will continue WWE's venture into streaming, having previously signed a 10-year deal worth more than $5 billion with Netflix to host WWE Raw each and every Monday night. WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Cocksucker Levesque said WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series will be bigger than ever and more of a spectacle than ever following this merger. What we consider the worldwide leader in sports entertainment to be with this worldwide leader in sports and entertainment ESPN. Well, there's nothing bigger. There's no bigger opportunity than this for us right now, Levesque said on Get Up this past Wednesday. We are proud to enforce the E in ESPN as such an exciting juncture in its direct-to-consumer journey, TKO President and Chief Operating Officer Mark Shapiro said in a statement posted by ESPN. WWE premium live events are renowned for exactly the type of rich storytelling, incredible feats of athleticism, and can't-miss cultural tentpole experiences that have become synonymous with ESPN. Through our UFC relationship, we have experienced firsthand how transformational an ESPN presence can be, and we know this will be an exceptional partnership at time of great innovation for both companies. There you have it. So, my question is to y'all. The current product right now, because that's what they're selling. They're not selling the past. They're actually selling the future. But based on the current product right now, do you believe this is a good deal for you, the consumer of WWE products? No, it's a great deal for WWE. It just continues this streak of rubbing it in your face. You see how much money we're getting from y'all? Y'all some stupid mother effers. Give me the money. It's all about the money. I know this is going to come off as if I'm a Vince McMahon supporter. But how different is this from what Vince McMahon has done over the years? I'll say this. Heel turn here. For as much as he fought the fans, much as he fought the fan base in what we richly wanted, remember, one of his famous sayings was, I know better what you want, better than the consumer. I'm going to give you what you deserve. He was an innovator, all right? He's the one who expanded his territory through ruthless aggression to make it not only a nationwide property, but a worldwide property. He's the one who muscled his way in to pay-per-view, to what it becomes now. He's made landmark deals. He, as of 11 years ago, embarked on the first journey into streaming for wrestling. WWE Network begot what you got on Peacock, which begot what's coming up with this partnership on ESPN. And while he was at it, he never really rubbed in your face his controversial, unpopular relationships as this current regime does now. But yeah, I know he's a sex trafficker. Yeah, I know he's just an abominable human being, and that may be true. But two things can be right, as we talked about when it came to the passing of Hulk Hogan. That dude. Two things can be right, and unfortunately, two things can be right about this next topic. Fucking John Cena. Can John Cena just retire already? When news came out last year, when he announced last year that he was going to have one final run, his retirement tour, the last time is now. I was not anticipating this at the very least. No, I was actually holding my breath to see, all right, how are they going to incorporate him in the current product? Is he going to take the current product back 10 years? Is he going to not be able to hang with the people that are at the top of the card? He's 48 years old. He hasn't wrestled a full-time schedule in 10 years. I mean, this wasn't full-time, but it was a substantial amount of dates. And of course, he should be front and center on the times that he is going to be on the TV screen, right? Was he going to use this time to put over the new generation or the current product? Or was this going to be a self-aggrandizing tour of, look at me? At the very beginning, during the Royal Rumble, I believe to a certain degree, he did put over Jey Uso, as in selling the importance of his his quest to be the never seen 17 world champion, right? The look of dejection in his face when he was pushed off the apron in that epic back and forth with him and Jey Uso realizing his dream of going to WrestleMania and wrestling for the WWE, the World Heavyweight Championship. I said, okay, that's something that needs to be done. Okay. And then immediately after that, he had that infamous press conference where he declared himself the first entrant into the Elimination Chamber because, listen, this is my last year. My resume speaks for itself, and I'm going to go in there. All right, fine. A little presumptuous, but at the same time, you give him a pass like, listen, it's going to be his last Elimination Chamber ever. You really think he wasn't going to be in there? Was it un-John Cena-like for him to say that? Technically it was, but was it? Then, of course, you know about the heel turn at Elimination Chamber, which one of these days I'm going to actually give a play-by-play of what my initial thoughts were, because I thought this was the greatest heel turn since the side of the NWO and Hulk Hogan. Boy, was I mistaken. That heel turn ended up being crap. First, it took 3 weeks for him to actually acknowledge it, for actually him to show up. He showed up during the European tour, which was oddly timed, but you know, it's all about the money. And throughout each week of confrontations with him and Cody Rhodes in the lead up to WrestleMania, he did something that was apparent at the time. And when he turned heel, it was like, okay. When he won the championship, it was like, okay. But it just seemed kind of strange and weird. And I believe it caused some backlash against Cody Rhodes, that it was just a verbal spar. And not even a verbal spar. He turned on Cody Rhodes And his venom was toward the fans that supported him, ironically, for the last 10 years. There was no more venomous John Cena sucks. Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. Yeah, it was playful, but everybody was behind him. And he spent that whole road to WrestleMania literally pie facing Cody Rhodes, talking to the fans, having the feud with the fans who really didn't even deserve it because they didn't have no beef with John Cena at that time. And it made Cody Rhodes look subservient in the fact that, dude, turned on you. Matter of fact, he kicked you in the nuts. Man law number one violated. He kicked you in the nuts. Took off your rolling. And commenced to and left you laying in a pool of blood. And the first time you saw him, it wasn't on site. The second time you saw him, it wasn't on site. Third time you saw him, wasn't on site. Got to WrestleMania, had a chance to put the nail in his coffin, couldn't pull the trigger. He did, walked out with the championship, left you running with your wife to your tour bus, never to be seen again for at least 3 months. Meanwhile, John Cena never said how important it was to break the record of being a 17-time champion. Never how important it was to end the year-long reign of the American Nightmare. It was like, yeah, I got the championship. I'm the champ. Still don't like y'all. Don't cheer for me. I'm on a mission to ruin wrestling because I am going to walk into my retirement with the championship belt, and y'all got about 15 times. Y'all got 15 dates left to get this belt off me. That was the narrative. And after a while, that narrative actually started picking up a little bit of steam because now the urgency of, darn, he only got 11 dates. Darn, he only got 10 dates. Darn, he only got 7 dates left. Every time he decided to defend the championship, the urgency was there. Or at least the perceived urgency. Until Cody Rhodes came back. And when Cody Rhodes came back, you know what he did? You know what was his monumental moment? It wasn't for the championship first time he saw him. It wasn't on site. It was me and Jay Uso versus your local Paul. Money in the bank. Huh? Cody Rhodes beats John Cena and Money in the Bank. Whoopee. Cody Rhodes has to go through the gauntlet of King of the Ring tournament, beat 2 of his friends to claim that championship. Okay. Finally gets to SummerSlam and puts him to a table the week before, forces his hand, street fight, and then immediately the next week, John Cena beats him to the punch and comes out and say, you know what, man, guys, yeah, Cody Rhodes is the best thing possible to me. He'd be some sense into me. You know what? I don't know what I was thinking about. I let these people lead me astray. My bad. I'm going to give you what y'all wanted all along. The 17-time world champion, Cody Rhodes. We're going to fight to see who's the better man. You're going to get the real John Cena. The champ is here. And Cody Rhodes was like, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted. Yeah, matter of fact, you know what? Let's cheers to this. Throw me 2 beers. See you on Sunday. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of unorthodox. Are they going to swerve us? There's no way in hell that John Cena just turned face and that's it. Sunday, something got to be happening, right? he's going to have that point in the match that everybody thinks he's going to do the right thing, and you say, you know what? Ooh, you. But it didn't happen. Instead, Cody Rhodes was shown to be the desperate one. Cody Rhodes was shown to be the one that would get the title back by any means necessary. Cody Rhodes was the one who literally dismantled the ring to put an end to John Cena's 17th reign as champion. And John Cena shakes his hand, raises his hand, and gives him the quote unquote rub. Never mind about the fact that in that little mini feud with R-Truth, yeah, remember him? Yeah. Unfortunately, what I was afraid was going to happen to R-Truth happened. They made a point to literally humiliate him. Not humiliate him, but let him know, listen, we brought you back, or Nick brought you back just to quell the backlash, but we still ain't fucking with you. Matter of fact, we're going to devalue you enough that when you leave here, when we finally get your ass out of here, it's going to be, you're going to wish you would have just took that shit like a man the first time. But remember, R-Truth, when he came back, he was on a quest. Matter of fact, he was on a quest to get the old John Cena back. Then when John Cena cheated him, not the title, but cheated him, he was on a quest to beat the living shit out of John Cena until the old John Cena came back. R-Truth is still around, right? But Cena just said, you know what? I woke up one day and I realized, Cody was right. Cody was right. R-Truth, I don't know what that crazy nigga was talking about. Cody was right. So after SummerSlam, we figured, okay, Brock Lesnar came back. F5 Cena. Now Brock is the heel, Cena's the face. You would figure that John Cena will come out and talk about Brock Lesnar, why you think Brock Lesnar came back. But first and foremost, since he supposedly put over this man at SummerSlam, right? That he would actually give Cody his due. Like, listen, Cody took me to the limit. We had a 40-minute war. Cody proved to be the better man. Cody brought out the best in me. I feel comfortable with the fact that even though I'm leaving at the end of this year, I only have X amount of dates left, and I really did want to leave with the championship, that Cody Rhodes, I'm leaving this company knowing that Cody Rhodes is going to keep this company where it's supposed to be, keep this company where I wanted it to be. Cody Rhodes is going to continue his legacy, and I helped with that legacy. I'm proud. If I was going to lose the title, I couldn't have lost it to a better man than Cody Rhodes. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. He acted like none of that shit ever happened. Matter of fact, I don't think he mentioned Cody Rhodes not once when he got back. He was talking about Montreal, the old Montreal screw job. Oh, how he was, the reason why he was acting that way, because he thought the fans were gonna forget him, forget his legacy. Oh yeah, Brock, come if you want some, come get some. Blah 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 blah. Bunch of bullshit. And then Logan Paul came out. John Cena is so disingenuous. This is why people didn't like him. This is why I never liked him for the longest. Because he's a fake. He's a phony. He went from Dr. Thugonomic from West Newbury, Massachusetts. Okay. Now, if he would have changed it from Roxborough, Massachusetts, where Ed O.G. and Bulldogs are from, maybe he would have had a little bit of street cred, but neither here nor there. Chain Gang Soldier, okay, with the spinner. Okay. Then he became a Marine. Okay. Then, for some reason, anytime he got ramped up, he had this strange Southern accent, even though the motherfucker's from Boston. Then outside the ring, he's more Vince McMahon than Vince McMahon. And people want to know why people didn't like John Cena, because nobody knew who the real John Cena was. And you still don't know who the real John Cena is. This is how much respect he gave Cody Rhodes. He's still referring to himself as the last real world champion. Is that something the face would do after championship defeat? That disingenuous nature has always been there. And he's wrapping up his career with one last dose. He's always been passive aggressive with putting someone over. You know how the reason why he got so much heat and hate over the years, when he lost the championship, when he lost a big match, you sure enough on Monday Night Raw, you sure knew that John Cena was going to open up the program and act like the night before never happened. And now he's doing it the same thing, just doubly. Him losing to Cody Rhodes, never really happened. Didn't really matter. Oh, those last April, May, June, July, August, those last 5 months of me being an asshole, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. It was a great match, but since he lost, he doesn't acknowledge Cody except for the fact that he's a partner in a random SmackDown tag team match against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. Now, another thing that I have to ask, because when Drew came out, guess who came out to make the save? Saying Cody Rhodes, he spent about 10, 15 minutes ignoring his little buddy. Oh, guess it looks like I got me a partner. Golly. Look, I got the American dream, the American nightmare, Cody Rhodes. The man that defeated me and bust my ass last night. He is my partner. Right, good buddy? Now, like I said, or should I say what I was going to ask? Why is Logan Paul versus John Cena the most important thing coming out of SummerSlam going forward? Where was Brock Lesnar? Matter of fact, not where was he, because he's not going to show up. But there was no mention of Brock Lesnar by John Cena, except for if you want some, come get some. Is there any reason why Brock Lesnar came back? Did they say anything? No. If he returned with all the backlash that they received, why didn't they just go hard with the return? Why didn't they just say, we're going to lean into it? Fine, we brought him back. Y'all going to feel the way y'all feel. So why don't y'all just feed into it, lean into it? Listen, we're going to balls to the wall with Brock Lesnar. Oh, no. That would be too much like right. That'd be too much like right. So it's almost like they brought Brock back at SummerSlam and they're trying to soften it by delaying his re-debut. Like, all right, we're going to give this quote unquote main event match at Clash in Paris with John Cena and Logan Paul, and we're going to save Brock Lesnar for the real big match, which will be probably Crown Jewel in Australia. By that time, everything will simmer down. They'll forget that we brought this big vanilla gorilla back, and everything will be great. And you know what I feel like? You know what I feel that is? That's coward shit. That's coward shit. But it's par for the course with this Paul triple cocksucker Levesque, the regime. For a person that always wants to be in front and center, he's definitely perfected the art of being a chicken shit executive. Remember how he pretty much put it at John Cena's feet that said, well, you know, John wanted, he had a list of opponents that he wanted. And, you know, we're determined to give John Cena the send off that he wants. So, you know, hence Brock is back. You know, that even though I'm the chief content officer, that was a John Cena call. Even though John Cena said right after that, listen, they deal the cards and I play them. I don't know why and this is my words. I don't know why you putting that shit on me. That wasn't my call. It wasn't my call at all. But yeah. So with that little spiel, can John Cena just retire already? What good is he going to do? Matter of fact, how much damage is he going to inflict on this return? Or now this heel, the end of this heel run? He pretty much buried The Rock. He buried Travis Scott, but Travis Scott deserved to be buried. But what else is he going to ruin? What destruction is going to be in his wake when all is said and done? He has September, October, November, December. So he has 4 months left. I believe he probably has like 8-9 dates left. The last date, I believe, you know, it's not set in stone, but I think he's probably going to have his last day in Boston in the middle of December. He's not going to December 31st. He's not going to show up at the Royal Rumble. He's not going to show up on day one or whatever. He's gonna get out of here on his terms, which I guess he has deserved. But the damage in his wake is going to be very interesting to see. And I'll say this. I'll end this. Cody Rhodes is going to discover quickly, if he hasn't discovered it already. And to his credit, he has maneuvered all these landmines over the last 2 years, over the last year and a half, brilliantly. With The Rock coming back last year and trying to bully his way in, and now this year with John Cena and literally being emasculated by John Cena, not verbally, but just through actions itself. He's still little brother to John Cena, even though technically he is the current face of the company. Cody Rhodes is going to understand and feel how other people felt when they were champion, but they were no longer the focal point of the company in the shadow of John Cena. It happened to Punk all through CM Punk's 434-day reign. Do you know the only time he main evented a pay-per-view was when he was facing John Cena? Think about that. The only time he main evented a pay-per-view was when he was in the ring with John Cena. Daniel Bryan. Batista. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. They might have been the quote-unquote main event, but they were not the main event. And now Cody Rhodes is going to suffer that same fate, unfortunately. It's almost like this historic second undisputed title victory non-existent. Did it happen? Did we see the belt? Did he proclaim himself to be the champ going into the new era? No, last time we saw him, he was being laid out by Drew McIntyre by getting the head claymored into the Spanish announce table or the announce table, period. So I guess, yeah, would not surprise me at Clash in Paris if John Cena versus Logan Paul is your main event ending the show, and Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre will open the show. Or conveniently be placed in the middle. Because if Roman is going to be on there, you think Roman is going to be first? I mean, Roman's going to be in the middle? Welcome to the mid card, Cody. Welcome to the mid card. Beat the Mets. Beat the Mets. Step right up and beat the Mets. Beat the Mets on Saturday. Then beat them again on Sunday. The New York Mets have lost 7 in a row. I believe at the time of this recording, they've lost 11 of the last 12 games, 10 of the last 11, 11 of the last 12. In the last 58 games, they are 18-30. Like, since the All-Star break, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but since the All-Star break, I think they've won 8 games. I think. They had that 7-game winning streak and then everything else. So remember that streak before going into the All-Star break where they had lost like 12 or 15, 10 or 13, something to that effect. And the All-Star break came at the right time. They came out the break. They went on a streak. They got back up to like 17, 18 games above 500. They had a 2-game lead over the Phillies. Well, guess what? That lead over the Phillies is now nil. Matter of fact, they are at a 5.5 game deficit. They're 5.5 games behind the Philadelphia Phillies for the lead in the NL East. They are clinging on to the third and final wild card spot, only ahead of the Cincinnati Reds by a game and a half. What happened? Is it time to panic? Is it time to panic? Well, they can't pitch. Remember at the beginning of the season, the first month and a half, we had the best ERA in the league. And this was with patchwork because we had Sean Manaea on the IR, IL, whatever you want to call it. We had Frankie Montas on the IR, the IL, whatever you want to call it. Then Tyler McGill went down. Taylor McGill, whatever. His name, he went down. I'm like, oh, damn. But still, we had David Peterson throwing strikes. We had a bullpen that was carrying us. Then Kodai Senga went down. Like, damn. Okay. Clay Holmes starting to get worn down because he's really a reliever pressed into starting duty. Oy vey. We even had some reclamation projects go down with Tommy John. Ay, Dios mío. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? It was only a matter of time, right? Before the pitching fell apart. Only a matter of time before the pitching fell apart. But the pitching kept us in games. The pitching won us games when our hitting was not on par. And everybody's like, well, Juan Solo, yeah, I said it. Juan Solo, he's going to start off slow, but best believe his numbers are going to be there. And, but tell you the truth, right now, his numbers are there, but are they impactful? I think there was a stat that I saw the other day, and this might not be totally accurate, but it's pretty close to it. Out of Juan Soto's, let's say 26 home runs, Do you know that at least 20 of them are solo shots? Hence the name, Juan Solo. I'm going to look it up right now while I'm talking to y'all, so I can give y'all the most accurate. Okay. Right now, we're 8 games above 500. We have lost 9 of the last 10 games. Our run differential is now down to only plus 30. Do you know that the Miami Marlins have gained 8.5 games on us? They're only 6 games behind us. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to give y'all some stats right now. Our batting average, 239 as a team, 23rd in the league. On base percentage, 318 as a team, 14th in the league. Runs scored, middle of the pack, 513. Homers, we have 147 homers, good for 9th. Slugging percentage, 406, good for 13th. ERA, team ERA, 3.7, but there was a time we had a team ERA in the mid-twos. We're still 7th, but still. Batting average against, 240. And still top half, 11th. Now, for the stat that I was looking for, where's Mr. Solo? Solo. Why don't I see him? Is he hiding? Okay. Here's his line. He's batting 251 with 28 home runs, 67 RBIs, and 82 runs scored. Now, put this in perspective. Compared to last year with the Yankees, he batted 288 with 128 runs scored, 41 home runs, 109 RBIs. Year before that, 162 games played, 275 average, on base percentage of 410. This year, he has an on base percentage of 383, 35 home runs, 109 RBIs. Hence, Juan Solo. Is it time to panic? Like I said, we can't hit, we can't pitch. Should Mendoza be on the hot seat in his barely completed second season? Well, when you go out and say that the team, himself included, are not making the necessary adjustments, well, isn't that partly what you get paid for? Is to make adjustments, in-game adjustments? If you notice that the pitchers have a game plan of pitching y'all a certain way inside, and the first wave through, by the second and third time, you don't understand what the hell is being done, game after game after game after game after game, isn't that part of your duty, Mr. Mendoza? Now, for all the kudos that was given to him last year, he deserves as much blame as he got kudos last year. Now, how about this? This past Friday, right? This past Friday, Kodai Senga lasted just 4 1/3 innings. That's the fourth straight time that his starts have been less than impressive. Matter of fact, have been outright poor. He surrendered 3 runs, 2 of which were unearned, whoop-de-damn-do, on 2 hits and 3 walks with 2 strikeouts. He was removed after 79 pitches and the bases loaded in the 5th. Why was he removed? 79 pitches, that's all he could give us? That's all he could give us, the 79 pitches? Why? Because the bases were loaded? I understand that, but he only gave up 1 earned run. I think he's the type of mother effer that's concerned about his ERA average. He's the type of dude that, oh yeah, we gotta have a 6-man rotation for him. Listen, for all that, maybe his ass needs to be in the bullpen. But he's not even durable enough for that, is he? Senga has reached 5 innings only once in his 5 starts. since returning from the injured list on the 11th of July. So I already taxed bullpen. It's like when you put Singer out there, we're playing a bullpen game. At this point in time, we might as well do a bullpen game. We might as well just have a reliever as a starter, do the first two innings, and then bring him in the third. And maybe, just maybe, we can get to the 7th inning to get to our strength, which is supposedly our strength, the end of the bullpen. Mendoza said this past Saturday, we continue to make mistakes. We are not playing good baseball. No shit. Especially when you are playing a team like the Brewers. You give them extra outs, you give them extra bases, and they're going to make you pay. And that's what happened that day. Tell me something I don't know, Sherlock. Now, David Stearns, this past Friday, essentially absolved the hitting coaches. I don't know why we have hitting coaches. If we got hitting coaches and neither one of them doing their job, guess what? Neither one of them need to be here. David Stearns on Friday essentially absolved Eric Chavez and Jeremy Barnes for the collective slump at the plate that has encompassed much of this season. Much of the season, the whole fucking season. Steven Stearns have said, I have confidence in our hitting coaches. I think we have good hitting coaches. They have track records of helping to lead and put together really quality offenses. This is, at times, baseball. And it will drive you crazy when you have talented players who go through stretches like this. All at the same time? Over the last couple of weeks, we've really had a lineup that has gone through stretches like this where we haven't performed up to our capabilities, and it's very frustrating. And everyone is working as hard as they possibly can to get this turned around, and I think we will. Now, that's the one thing I'll say about Stearns. And to be honest, it should be steady. Cannot make any rash moves. He did what he thought was prudent at the deadline. Unfortunately, those moves have yet to pay off. Case in point, I'll bring in this little stat. Last week, and I overheard this, so listen, I'm going to give credit to the person, but he's nameless. Last Tuesday, when I went to the game, and we was going against the Cleveland Guardians, right? He had Taylor out there in center field. Now, didn't we just trade for Mullins from the Baltimore Orioles? Mullins had a .330 batting average against that starting pitcher. But yet, he started Taylor, who, while he is a defensive wizard at times, he's really a defensive replacement. We got Mullins based on Taylor's futility at the plate. We were 4 hit that day. We got 1 hit after the 3rd inning by Jeff McNeil, as I said in the intro. That's management. That's your GM putting you in position and giving you leeway, but you're not really putting the team in a position. If the team is slumping, especially they're slumping at the plate, you need all the offense you can get without sacrificing the defense. And Mullins was not going to be a sacrifice on defense. At the very least, you could have put Mullins in there. If you really wanted Taylor in there, you put him at the end of the game for defensive replacement. But that was just a sign of, have you lost your way? Have you lost your rhythm this season? Have you lost the pulse of this team? This team looks lifeless. Looks lifeless. Felt lifeless. And you can't blame the fans. That stadium was full. Full. In the beginning of August. So you can't say, oh my God, You know, the fans not showing up, they're not supporting. No, they were out there in mass. It was electrifying at the beginning. And then as the innings went down and we went down 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2, we're not even drawing walks. What do you expect people to do? Do you know that over this latest stretch, we're only averaging 3.9 runs per game? And overall for the season, we're only averaging 4.3 runs per game, which is middle of the league. The frustration is building, and this recent homestand in which the Mets scored 4 or fewer runs in 4 to 6 games against the Giants and the Guardians was top notch. Do you know the home finale, we almost got no hit, and you know who broke up the no hit bid? Juan Solo with a solo shot in the bottom of the ninth against Gavin Williams. Is it time to panic? I don't know. But I'm going to show you a couple of clips on my experience, and you tell me if we didn't do our part or not. And I'm talking about the fans.
When we do this, we were 30 and 80. We would. As a team, next year they were 45 and 65. So we don't have any ground.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
Yeah, by that time, that was like ninth inning. We already knew what time it was, but we was trying. And now we got this new reliever that we traded for, Helsley, coming out like he's a star and shit. I guess because he's a closer, he gets his own entrance. But dude, like you're coming in a losing situation. Do we really need all this? Yeah, you sort of look at my face like, okay, rock on. But there was some nice moments in my trip to Citi Field. You know, the kiddies. Mike Steph is all about the kiddies. So. Yeah, that was great. And so And lastly, this. Okay, I'm gonna cut that short. You know why? Because that's the second or third time that I've gone there, and that song has gotten chosen, and I'm just like, okay. As you can tell, the lack of energy. That was about the 8th inning, and we're just like, listen, we already know what time it is. We already know what time it is. These mother effers haven't gotten a hit since the 3rd inning, and I listen. I understand there's a certain segment of the fan base that attends these games. And if you're there long enough or enough times, then you kind of get this through osmosis. But if I have to hear that song one more time, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a bigger problem than the Mets not making the playoffs. And at this point in time, that's not a foregone conclusion. Now with sports out the way, I guess I should get into some city issues, right? Yeah, I think so. City bike expansion. Now, this article I'm going to read from is from, I believe, the New York Post yesterday. And I'm going to give my thoughts after, or I'm going to give my thoughts interspersed throughout this reading. New York City plans to add 50 city bike docking stations in a Brooklyn neighborhood, and that's frustrating some residents. The Bay Ridge community members argue the sites proposed by the Department of Transportation are overly concentrated and present safety hazards. Really? Critics say many of the 50 stations are being planned too close together, directly in front of single-family homes or in locations they consider unsafe. Okay. So it's all right to park in front of it's all right to put these docks in front of an elementary school, in front of a junior high school, on Eastern Parkway. It's all right to put these docks there. I'm not even going to complain about the park, but you have a dock near St. John's Park, which is literally a block away from a junior high school where you got 2 docks there. But a single house home. Oh my goodness. The horror. The horror. I had reached out to community board. I had reached out to the councilman's office, and it very much felt like a done deal without community input. And I was frustrated by that, said Josephine Petanza, a Bay Ridge homeowner who launched the petition. Brooklyn Council member Justin Brennan acknowledged the pushback from constituents, but said he's actively involved in advocating for their concerns. My staff and I have been going around literally visiting every single location, Brendan said. I know better than DOT does where this stuff is going to work. And I have to say, DOT thus far has been very responsive, i.e., they've given him some pork, some kickbacks, some petty cash, some slush fund to let this shit go through. Yeah, I'm translating it. A DOT spokesman said in a statement, bike share has become an integral part of our transportation landscape, and this expansion of Bay Ridge will bring this great service to even more New Yorkers. Still, some residents say a slower, more measured rollout would be better. Put in 10, monitor them. See how they're going and put them in areas where the volume of people are, said Kim Parker, another homeowner. There's like 6 houses on each block. City bikes expansion in the Bay Ridge is expected to begin in the fall. Hmm. You know what? I'm sorry. I know this is going to sound so cold and callous, but it is what it is. I really have no sympathy for these people. While I fully understand how they feel, imagine being in a densely populated area with limited parking spaces and have precious few space and have the precious space that was available wiped away due to 3 city bike docks, all within 4 blocks of where you live. Imagine that. That's my reality. Or how about these parking docks in front and located in front of elementary schools and middle schools? Doesn't that attract a demographic that might just be a little bit problematic? Like, there are rules. There is a law that technically, like, if you're a certain age, you're not supposed to be really in a kiddie park, like, with the swings and stuff like that, like, because you look like a petty, look like a pervert. So there's a reason. So I'm not saying that city bikes and pedophiles are one and the same, but you're bringing people over to a school to pick up a bike that may or may not have all their marbles, may or may not be in that demographic I just mentioned, may or not really care about everything that's going around. They just there for their bike. They take their bike, especially the electric bike, run somebody over, run a kid over, run a parent over. Bad enough you got double parking in front of schools, which I was guilty of years ago, but I'm not talking about me right now. I can go deeper, tell you the truth. And this is not, and I'm going to veer off city bike park for a minute, but it's more like just city issues. How about, because I raised the issue of equality for all. Everybody's all about equality, right? What's good for me is what's good for you, right? Except when it affects me. City bikes. Oh, the scourge of city bikes. No, I can't have them in my single family house or in front of my single family house, but I can have them in the hood. I can have them in commercial, well, not even commercial areas, but I can have them in areas where you got apartment buildings, densely populated. Another thing that is very unequal, smoke shops. I know this is gonna come off as me being very anti-marijuana, but listen, give a fuck. Listen, do what you do. Do you? But I'm talking about equality, right? Remember the drug-free zones? I guess because it's legal, it's not considered a drug. Fine. But does that really mean, and I got a horse flying here. Does that really mean that you should be able to have a smoke shop literally less than 2 blocks from an elementary school? I mean, there's no regulation on these, right? I mean, all right, dispensary. Okay, you have a dispensary, you have a smoke shop, same difference. Smoke shops are doing vapes and everything. All right, fine. They might be doing flower, whatever. Fine, right? But you can have it within a block and a half in the hood, right? Because a nigga's gonna get high anyway. I know in my travels throughout the city, throughout various neighborhoods in Brooklyn, there's a disparity of illegal smoke shops. Number one. Number two, smoke shops in general near schools. I can count on the top of my head. 2, 3, at least 4 within a 5-block radius. No, within a 2-block radius of elementary school. I know someone who works in the school that during one of their proms, multiple students had to be taken to the emergency room based on panic attacks, based on anxiety attacks, based on the fact that they were vaping. And this is middle school. This is 12, 13 years old. Because guess what? All they had to do is go around the corner, get them a vape, go in the bathroom, don't smell. I know that's a parent problem. But if parents are vocalizing the displeasure at the inequity of where these things are located and it's not being done, you think I really give a fuck about your displeasure about a city bike dock? Listen, everyone is loud and strong on equality. Everybody gotta be equal, equality, equal. Oh, what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. But it's bullshit. It's bullshit. How about this for another equality moment? Fair enforcement varies throughout the city, throughout neighborhoods, right? You got people brazenly jumping the turnstiles, such as this guy.
Between Times Square and Grand Central, take the 42nd Street shuttle train. The service to Hudson Yards, transfer at.
Picture going through all that just to avoid paying $2.90. But I'm going to remove that from the equation. Because I'm not talking about that specifically. The enforcement varies. You have free-for-all in some places such as Dyker Heights, Bidshurst, Borough Park, Cobble Hill, Brougham Hill. Free-for-all. That door open, everybody going. Nah, the train's taking too long. I'm not paying. Jump. But then Brownsville, aka Ocean Hill, Bed-Stuy, or certain parts of Bed-Stuy, not Stuyvesant Heights, Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, certain parts, Prospect Heights, certain parts. You have law enforcement up the wazoo, a concerted effort to blitz the population. You would think ICE was in that mother effer. You would think the way they was out to give out tickets, that somebody got a call that this was an area of influx with illegal immigrants and ICE was needed pronto. But it's all about equality, right? What's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. Everything got to be 50-50. World ain't fair. World ain't fair. So, like I said, miss me with this fake outrage over city bikes. Like that city bike program has been around for about 10 years, and y'all just getting around to getting blitzed. Same thing with the unhoused, the homeless population, homeless shelters, right? Yeah, you can have homeless shelters all in the hood. You can have makeshift shelters in public schools where they have to actually get a trailer and put the kids in the trailer because you needed the gym for the influx of migrants a couple years ago, right? That was all good. But if they set up a hotel, a shelter, your neighborhood, woo, 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 that's the sound of the police. Listen. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Thought not. Thought not. Well, people, that brings us to the end of another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me in this here podcast the one y'all choose to listen to and the one y'all choose to view. Next week, I guess it'll be more the same. You know, hopefully the Mets do an upswing. They got a big week. It's coming. We go against the Braves. We go against the Phillies. My vacation starts next week. Yeah, vacation part due. This one's more of a staycation, but I'm gonna make some type of move to get the hell out of Dodge. I don't know where. I'm gonna listen. Maybe I'll do a travel vlog. Maybe that's what I'll do for my vacation. You know, maybe I'll do some chores in the house, and each day I will pick a destination and I will go and I will have a travel vlog. And maybe that would be my plans for episode 99, because 98 is going to be me just talking about whatever the hell I feel like talking about. I love the fact that I was able to get this in less than 2 hours, unless I ramble, and I'm not really rambling because I'm about 40 minutes late from me doing my walk. Even though my calf is telling me I should chill. That's what but nah. I'm going to try to get that in, more for well-being than physical. So yeah, that's what's on deck next week. More of the same. Please check out my brothers from Gimmick Infringement, Winchester McDowell. They drop each and every late Sunday night, early Monday morning on the YouTube page of the 19 Media Group and on all streaming platforms where podcasts are available. Please check out the young OG from Chicago, Desmond Powell. Happy birthday, young OG. In his latest installment of You Had to Be There, in which him and Tyler McDowell Blanken of Gimmick Infringement team up like the Super Friends to talk about WNBA legend Mercury, Phoenix Mercury, Michelle Timms. Yeah, flipped my mind for a minute. I knew it was Timms, just couldn't remember the first name. What kind of legend she is? She's a Phoenix Mercury legend, and I am a part of the New York Liberty fandom, so I wouldn't listen. I'm a teaspoon guy. Yeah, but she was part of the inaugural group of players that started on the W, and W connoisseur himself, Tom McDowell Blanken, made history with that being the first topic on Wish You Were There series, and he actually had, I believe, the first 5x5 of WNBA players for Hip to the Games. So please check out Hip to the Games, available on the 19 Media Group YouTube channel and all streaming platforms where podcasts are available. New episodes drop each and every other Friday. Yes, indeed. So, like I said, I'm gonna get out of here, but the getting is good. And I guess I would check y'all next week. What's that? Does that work? Is it not working? Ah, there we go. Like and follow. I knew this shit was going to work sometime, right? Like and follow. Let's see if, while I'm doing this, let's see what else might work. What's this? Thank you. Yeah, should I do a thank you? Thank you, Heavenly Father, for shining your light on me. It's been a long time, but handsome one loves me. Oh, my thanks to thee. And on by you. Ooh, yeah. Sweet pipes back in effect. So, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here before I really mess up this recording. There will be no profanity. There will be no profane rant at the end because I can't follow that song with such things. So I'll check y'all later. Peace and blessings. Peace and love. I'm out of here. Goodbye.